Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again to the In Real Life podcast, where we talk about things that may be happening in your real life. We are your hosts, Erica Dawn,
And Naomi Rose.
and today we are talking about who makes more.
That guap.
Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and get into it.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute, sis. That's how you gonna do it? Damn. Is that how y'all feel? Let's say all of it, like all of them. I don't know. I don't know. Hey.
So let's get into it because there's a lot of talk all over social media. I don't care what platform it is, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, about who makes this, who makes that. Doesn't even matter. So let's get one thing straight. Statistically, men make more than women across the board. Let's get that straight. Here's another statistic. Black women compared to white women in the same position make less. Yep. I have personally experienced that. Let me give you an example. I used to work for a hospital system here in Atlanta. This was, I guess, 2012. I moved here in 2011, so I call that my first real job. And I had been there a year and some change, and we had a white woman that we hired, and they had me train her to do, what I was doing, what we did on my team.
Because they will do that.
And I did so. After I left, I found out that she made $4 an hour more than me.
Crazy.
I had been there almost 2 years. And at that time, I also had an associate's degree. I hadn't had my bachelor's yet, but I also had an associate's degree. And through talking to her, I knew that she didn't have one. But she was making $4 an hour more than me. So let's get the statistics out of the way. Men statistically make more than women, and white women statistically make more than black women in their profession.
And you got to take into account too, sis, like when you say men make more than women, like that statistic incorporates black, white, other,
Yes.
Hispanic.
Yes.
So that's a lot that they pull into one statistic, which
Yes.
personally I don't like as a person who uses statistics for study, because you need to break it down demographic by demographic.
Right.
Because then when you do the comparison to black women to black men, and that's a whole other demographic statistic to consider.
Yes.
Which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, a lot of people, it defines their relationship. It can shatter a relationship.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in relationships where when guys felt like they were threatened by what I was doing as far as work was concerned, what I was doing as far as school was concerned, it got real rocky. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna make what I make to make myself feel secure. Right. Because first and foremost, you gotta feel secure with what you're making. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure bills is covered, the kids are taken care of. If it's a car repair that needs done, you got the money for that.
Yes.
Because in real life, shit come at you fast. It pop up real quick.
And we get left with the kids most of the time. So we got to make sure we cover all of that.
Okay.
All of that.
Because my child got two field trips coming up. Like, and shame on y'all.
Listen, my son he was in the band in middle school and decided he was going to be in the band when he went to high school. The band fees were $750.
And mama got to come up with that.
Right when school started.
And you better put the money in their hand. Okay.
Thankfully, he decided not to be in the band anymore. But I just got another email today. He's in JROTC now, and their fee is like $140. It's a lot less, but they also have a lot of things that they have to attend, which takes up my time and stuff like that. So it's a lot of other things that have to be taken care of. And like I said, us as women, we have to make sure we can pull up the rear.
Yeah, absolutely,
on that stuff.
So my first thing is like, I don't think I'd ever want to be in a relationship where I'm fully taken care of. And we know there are some relationships where like the woman stays home, she's the caretaker, she's primarily there to take care of the children.
Y'all see how Charles did Helen, right? Okay.
And
just saying,
right,
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
And I feel like in that, women lose some of their identity. Like recently, I was reading a book by this author. Her last name is Mies, so Mies, right?
Okay.
She wrote this book, right, about basically patriarchy and accumulation and how it has affected women all over the world. So basically, how government and businesses have built, you know, their whole entities off of the work of women, because women, like you said, are statistically paid less. Women may be doing work in the home, which nobody probably ever thinks about this. I didn't think about it before I read the book. You're not paid for any of that work.
Yeah.
You were not paid for getting those kids up every day and getting them dressed and getting them to school, getting them fed, cleaning the house,
making
washing the dishes,
taking them to the appointments.
You're not paid for any of that. Yeah. And people like to say, oh, well, it's a labor of love. But when you say labor, labor is labor, regardless of whether it's a labor of taking care of your family or the labor of getting up every day and going to an office to work. Yeah. So women are actually losing wage time or time that could be spent making money whenever they are primarily the caretaker in the home. Yes. So I would personally never want to do that. Like if I ever dated a guy that's like, oh no, I want you to stay home and take care of the kids. No, it's not gonna work for me. No. How you feel about it, sis?
I'm definitely not gonna be a kept woman. I would say if I did agree to that, if I was like, if I hate to call it an allowance because it sounds like something you give kids, right. But if I was given access to his money, I would be making a business, or buying a QT or a Chick-fil-A or a Starbucks or something, and it's just having, my something on the side. So if God forbid things did go bad, I would still have something, to on the side. Yeah, I'm not just gonna stay home and take care of the kids and live off of somebody. No, I think that if that's what you're doing, in the meantime, if you have access to his money, do something with it and start making your own money. And it could be something where you don't have to do like we do, work every day. Right. Purchase a franchise, hire a manager, an assistant manager, and some employees, and do that. Open a store, whatever the case may be. But definitely not just sitting home cooking and cleaning and taking the kids, care of the kids all day.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't think I can do
that. And working does take a lot out of us. 3 years ago, because of my profession, we work from home. There's no need for us to be in the office.
Right.
And I took that because I found that I was taking a lot of time off of work, like we just spoke about, because my son called and said he was sick or he was hurt. So I got to leave and go to the school. So either I use my PTO, which is for when I get sick or from my vacations. So either I use PTO or I take it without pay.
Yeah.
Summer camp, that costs a lot of money. I had to pay for that. They be out for winter. They be out for Christmas and New Year's for 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
At a time. Thanksgiving, They out for a whole week. So either I had to take off or I had to pay for him to go to some camp or daycare during that time. There was times when I had to be to work at a certain time and he had to be at school. We all know work and school times don't coincide.
Never.
They never coincide.
Ever.
How they go to school from 8 to 3, but I work 7 to 4.
Right.
Like, it don't work. So I had to pay. There was this center that he used to go to, and I used to have to drive down there in the dark, 6-something in the morning, to drop him off. Because they take him to school. Then I gotta go to the other side of town to go to work. And then they would pick him up from school, and I would have to meet them on the other side of town. Again, not near work and not near where I lived, to pick him up. So doing all of that does, take away from the time that we have and the money that we could be making. So let's get into who makes more as far as relationships that we been in. So sis, in your personal experience, we ain't got name no names. I name no names. Let's just get an average, a mean. Mean means average. It gives you the average number when you get that mean. Who has made more?
It's me, sis. It's me.
Oh, it's you.
It was me. It was me. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. The only time I believe that the man I dated made more than me was when I was probably like 17 years old working at the Tennessee store.
Yeah,
And my
that's what I
boyfriend was a
teenager.
construction worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the only time. Yeah, he was a construction worker.
I know what type of job.
Yeah. So that was probably the only time that any
They
guy
still
I
wear
dated
Timberlands, but
they do. This was that was the only time a guy I dated probably made more than me. And it's so crazy because I don't even discuss, like, it's weird because I never discuss it. Like, I never come off as my job is the whole representation of me. What I make is the whole representation of me. Like, half the guys I've dated, I've never even told them how much I make.
Oh, I never do.
Right. I tell them what I do, but they don't know how much I make.
Yeah, they.
But I think they figure it out just because they see the things that they're able to do. Yeah, they see
and
what
the
you
things
have
you're
and what
able to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
I don't like, because for me, it's like, my kid, some people would call it spoiling her. But hey, I don't care. You know, she didn't get everything. But when it comes to special things, like I just recently took her to Disney on Ice. Mm-hmm. When it comes to stuff like that, like she's going to get the best. Yeah. And that's because when you look at it again, categorically, in race comparison, all these kids of other races are getting the best. Mm-hmm. So we was 4 rows from the front.
Right. There you go.
I'm going to pay that for my kid. You know what I'm saying? Other people think that that's ridiculous. I don't. That's what I work for. I work to provide for me and her. So that's cool with me. But when they see that you can go out and get whatever you want when you want to get it, when they see that you can travel with your homegirls or travel with them, when they see that you're not calling them every other day, and it's so crazy because in Atlanta you hear, oh, women always asking for money. You be on the second, third date.
I don't know them.
Never. I
don't know them because I'm always like, who y'all hanging around and who y'all talking to? Because my bitches get money
all the time.
They not asking for nothing.
Time. Like
I'm like, who the fuck y'all talking about?
Because where we going next year for your birthday?
Okay, so we got a couple things.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
We trying to go to DR for my birthday. I have a friend back home whose birthday is 10 days after mine. We always talk about we gonna go somewhere. We just haven't, matched up to do so. And then I have another friend who's doing a trip to Colombia that I'm definitely hopping on. Yes. She's going to Cabo next week.
And then I'm going to Colombia.
I'm going to Aruba.
Right.
That's the week after that. That's what we like to do. But like you said, people see that, because I don't never say how much I make. Yeah. But people see that and they're like, all right, she got some money. They see I live in a decent house. I have 2 cars. You know what I'm saying? We not bumming it out here, me or neither one of my kids. No. Whatever they want or whatever I see that I want to pick up, it's coming to the door. Mm-hmm. FedEx, DHL, Amazon, whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting got. Yeah. And I can also say, like my response to the question I asked you, I've never been with anybody that made more money than I did. Going back to being a teenager. Right. Pretty much. I was working at Walgreens and I was dating like one of the assistant managers or something. Right. I'm pretty sure he made more than I did. He was maybe 3 years older than me. So I'm pretty sure he made more than I did, which probably wasn't much at that time because that's 22 years ago. Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but age. Probably like $1.75 more than you. Right. It might have been 55 cents. Who knows? But that's what that was. And even back then, I had an apartment, and he was staying with friends of some relatives. He was from a different country, so I guess that's okay. He had to get his feet wet here, or whatever. Even going back to my son's father, when I met him, he wasn't working. Shout out to him, Cappy Land Records, Coach Cap. He did the music for the podcast. Hey. Boom. Hey. So when you hear that, welcome to Cappy Land. That's Coach Cap, Cappy Land Records. Okay. But and at that time I was like, I met him when I was like 23, 24. Mm-hmm. And money to me has never been a big thing. I guess maybe because I don't expect to be taken care of, but also I'm not taking care. I'm not taking care of you. As long as I'm not taking care of you, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. And you know what I'm saying. Ever.
And the whole thing is because, and it's crazy too because sometimes as a woman you feel like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Because again, we hear these guys give all this smoke to women who don't have themselves together financially. Oh, she was asking me for money. Oh, shorty couldn't afford to do this and shorty couldn't afford to do that. But then when you're the woman who can stand on your own 2 feet and you're the woman who can pay for things when she wants to pay for things and covers all of her bills and is not standing there with her hand out all the time, you get looked at sideways for that too, because now you're too independent. But it's like, what am I supposed to do? Be waiting out on the curbside with my kid for some man to come and swoop me up who makes more money, and now I've been saved by, you know, patriarchy of what it is that we live in, this society. No, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like, I'm gonna need a roof over my head, and I'm gonna need bills to be paid, whether I'm dating somebody or not dating somebody. And I think that should be the same for both sexes. Like both
It
sexes
should be,
that
but
way.
you listen. Let me tell you something, sis.
I'm listening, sis. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I ain't never been with nobody that had their own place.
All right, hold on. I'm thinking. Hold on.
I've had my own
Let me run the
place
track
since
back.
I
Let
was
me run the track
19 in Queens. My first apartment was the top floor of a house. If you know anything about houses up north, you got split levels, you know, shit like that. And I was paying $1,100 for a 2-bedroom at the top floor of a house when I was 19. I have never had to do with his own place that I could go to and like spend a night and shit, or the week or whatever.
I'm really trying to. Okay, so hypothetically, if I really started dating when I was like 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about it, so I had my own place ever since I was like 22, and that's mainly because I went to college. So right, I was in school, and then I came back home. Once I got my first real job, I was up out of my mother's house. Like, she done her part. I'm not staying with her forever. But I want to say,
you know what you're gonna say? Spit it out.
It's probably been like 3 or 4.
Oh, well, you got more than me.
3 and 4 is probably pushing it, but it's been like 3 or 4. Yeah, it's been no more than that.
That's more than me. And let me tell you something. Depends on the type of dude you with, because it'll be a dude that'll help you get it and don't mind that you got it. And there'll be dudes that hate that you get it. I have an ex. I bought a house. I had my car. My son taken care of. Whatever. He tried to financially cripple me in any way. And he would do this by not paying his part. He thought that if he didn't pay my part, then I was going to have it, and then I was going to fall. Now, he's a narcissist. So, in some weird way, that was his way of having power over me. He couldn't stop me from working. So, it's like, all right, I ain't going to pay no bills. She going to have to pay it because everything is in my name. And then that's going to fuck her over. But didn't happen, son. And it didn't happen because I'm not that type of bitch. You know, I'm gonna get it, and I always have it. I've even been in relationships where I knew I made more, and I tried to compromise with them. Like, yo, I know you make this, so let's do a percentage. Right. Let's say you make $4,000 a month, and I make $6,000 a month. Why are we splitting this shit in half? Right. When I make more than you, let's do it this way. Let's say the rent is, I don't know, $2,000. Why would I make you pay $1,000 and I pay $1,000 and I make $2,000 more than you per month? Okay, so I'll pay I'll pay the $1,250 and you pay the other $750.
But you know what? Since their ego loves 100 or 50-50, I don't know what it is about it. It's either they have to be doing more than you, beyond you, which is 100%. Yes. Or it has to be 50-50 to somehow. But you know what? Even though I offered that, they was like, nah, I'm gonna do my half. Yeah, that's crazy. And I'm like, you're not making more, right? So that's crazy. I'm like, all right, it's cool. Maybe they have something to prove, whatever. I don't know. But I'm not that type of chick where I know I make more than you, and I'm just gonna try to fucking drain you. To pay half of everything when I know I make more than you, and I probably have, more responsibilities like my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't expect for no nigga to take care of my kids at all. Like, I'm good. No. I'm taking care of my own kids.
They got fathers. They taking care of. They straight. You ain't got to do all that.
And you know what? I think too, like, and this, I'm not even just gonna say it's Atlanta, because so many people try to label that. They be like, oh, dating in Atlanta, this dating in Atlanta.
It is.
It's not, because I will tell you, like,
dudes in New York is so different.
I'm not saying that they're not different. It is a difference. But I also think men who make more, men who, again, categorically know where they are on the income threshold, think that they can just play around. That's the thing.
So you saying that men that make more
Yeah, men
like
that
that?
make more are like that. Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you, the broke
Yeah.
niggas are like that too. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell
you
you
make
that
a valid
right now.
point.
I'm just gonna
However,
go ahead and tell you.
I'll say this: I think men that make more are open with it. Like they don't care about the fact whether you know that they playing, you know, that they talking to you and B and C and
whereas
D
the
girl.
men who
Whereas
don't
men who
make
don't
more,
have
they
it,
trying
right?
to hide
They trying to
that
hide
shit.
it because they know they don't really have the resources to play around like that.
Right.
They just playing around till they get caught.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Even though I never had nobody that made but now I definitely have, you know, neck and neck.
Okay.
Neck and neck, but not to the point where it was so evident. Like they had like a 2-3 car garage,
right,
and like this big ass house, like a doctor, a lawyer, somebody who owned their own business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I've never been in a relationship like that, and to be honest with you, I don't think I could take it. I can't take somebody telling me what the fuck to do, or how to act, or like just. But like you said, because they make more, I'm supposed to be like,
right. You supposed to take a back seat.
Yeah. I can't do that. I'm not like that.
And I don't think as women we do that. Like I think if we make more, it's just like, okay, we make more, cool. But as long as the bills get paid, we not worried about it.
Right.
Like we know what needs to be done for the household.
So to let y'all know, it's not really like that.
It's not like that.
It's not really like that when we make more than y'all. That is not what's happening. I know y'all would like to think that's happening. That you want to tell your homeboys this is what's happening, but it's not, okay? Just let y'all know.
Right.
That's not really what happens. We don't care, because let me tell you something. I don't care if my dude made half what I make or 25% what I make. If he loyal, if he respect me, if he treat me right, if he help clean up and cook, I'm good.
And another thing that always shocks me is like if a man happens to be dating a woman that he eventually finds out she makes significantly more than him, why does that not motivate him to try to reach to a higher level?
I don't know. It seems like they get offended. Like they get more offended instead of like, okay, let me go do something else.
Like, so my kid's dad is like a prime example. Like he, you know, made less than me. And initially I didn't even plan on dating him. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. I didn't. Because I was at a point where I was just like, listen, leave me alone because I'm about to cock back and this hammer and y'all about to get this work. And so he, you know, he was very persistent when he first approached me, and eventually we started dating. And then after having my daughter, I had to take time off. I didn't go back to work for like 9 months because I had bad postpartum. I had carpal tunnel in both wrists from holding her. It's called postpartum carpal tunnel. And I basically couldn't type. I couldn't do anything that I was able to do before having her. So, and something in my eye, I ain't crying because I ain't no chump.
Say I ain't no punk ass bitch.
Right. I ain't really raised me. I'm wrong, okay? Well, I'm fucking west side of Baltimore.
Okay.
But anyway, so eventually I got back to work with a new employer, you know, and of course I got a significant increase at the new job. And I think it was, shout out to my old boss, the fact that she knew I was at that point had just had a baby and she had gone through a similar situation with her eldest child. Okay. So she really was, you know, pulling for me to get the top pay that they could offer me at this position. Yes. She's a Black woman. We still friends to this day. But once I got that position, like I think he heard me on a phone call one day telling my cousin I had gotten the job and how much I was making, right? Not that I was trying to hide it from him, right? But he heard it in the conversation. Instead of taking that and using it as motivation, he quit his job. So at this point, our daughter is like,
expecting you to take care of him?
Oh, we're gonna get to that part. Hold on.
Oh, geez.
So he quit his job. So at this point, my daughter again is like 9, probably going on 10 months. She's still pretty much an infant. She's in childcare. So I can go back to work because before then I was keeping her home. Quit the job because he got into an accident in his work vehicle. It wasn't his fault. They gave him workman's comp, so he was off for a certain amount of weeks with a certain amount of pay. But after that, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to go back to that job." And I was like, "So what you plan on doing?" So his father, 25 years career military, was like, I'm gonna take you and get you into the reserves.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure you don't have to travel any farther than Florida, which I think is like a weekend or two each month that they go. I'm not sure. I know you're not gone constantly,
Yeah,
like
it's
you
like
off your like
it's like a weekend
inactive
or two.
military
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
You're stationed away.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, that sounds good. His dad is like, then you'll have health care because he also has another child. He had an older child. He's like, you'll have health care for the kids and you'll be straight. And I came home the day he was supposed to go to the recruiter's office with his father, and he was on the sofa, high out his mind. So to answer your question, sis, yes, he thought that I was going to take care of him because then I got a new job and I was making more money than I had been previously. And I also have been making more money than him from the beginning of the relationship. And yeah, that's pretty much what ended it.
Let me tell you, at the tail end of my relationship with my ex, we had gotten into a fender bender. We got rear-ended.
Mm-hmm.
So you know you gotta play the game, go to the chiropractor, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had created a position where I was working, and they was creating a new team of people, and my boss wanted me on that team. So she was helping me to get on the team.
Right.
So I had to go through the motions. I already knew I was gonna be on it. I had to apply and go do the interview, and take the test, and whatever. So at this point, I already know he be on some fuck shit, and he's jealous of how much money I make. Mm-hmm. So I get the call, whatever. We at the chiropractor's office. I get the call, blah blah. All he want to know how much more money you gonna be making. And I was like,
I'm sorry, but
I was like, I don't know. I ain't get the email. This motherfucker walked out the chiropractor office like mad because I wouldn't tell him how much more money I was making.
Oh, well, you can stay mad, sir.
Stay mad. He could never catch up to me. He was always real salty about his child support because he had 2 daughters with his ex. Always real, salty about that. So anything he ever had access to was through me because I'm who he was with at the time. So it is what it is. But like I don't care if you don't make more than I do as long as you treat me properly. Because then what it's gonna be if you cheat on me or some shit, I'll be like, you broke motherfucker, you got the nerve.
It's gonna get real ugly.
You got the nerve. You broke.
Y'all for being broke.
You broke. And you make less than me and got the nerve to be fucking cheating on me. But there go the misconception about I'm gonna tell y'all now. It's not this. This is not what happened.
You taking me out.
This is not what happened. Okay? We don't feel like that. And maybe that's the chicks that you choose to deal with. But I never felt like I was above a dude or more than a dude because he made less than me. Nope. That's not how it is. I don't think I'm better than you. I'm from New York. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. Okay, you heard of LL, you heard of Ja Rule, you heard of 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, fucking Run DMC. Okay, you heard of any of them? I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. Don't let the light skin and the freckles fool you. I'm really a down ass bitch and a down to earth person. Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in a house. Whatever. I didn't grow up in the projects. I have family that have my father grew up in the projects. He happened to make it out. He went to corrections and blah, blah. I grew up in the house. But I still had to go back to the hood, to school, to visit my family, shit like that. I had to fight my way out of a lot of shit. Right. So I'm not finna down nobody. As long as you treat me with respect and you kind and all that other stuff. And you loyal. You loyal, all that
in
stuff.
Real life.
Then then we good. Don't care how much you make. It's not really like that me, that I put up. So we don't want the guys to think like we getting on y'all or whatever like that, or we think we better than y'all when y'all make more. Nah. It's not like that.
When people say you are what you attract, that's another thing that drills a hole in my soul because I am not what I attract. And I honestly think that
I'm not
attraction beyond physical, because the first thing we are attracted to is how somebody presents physically.
Yes.
But attraction beyond that, it's normally polar opposites.
Yes.
You won't find 2 of the same types of people.
You know how many times people, like my friends and family, be like, you with that nigga?
Right. Exactly. It's polar opposites. And the whole thing about that is like I say, I want to know what is supposed to be the motivator for men to do better and get to that point where they can substantially make more income.
But you know what? Sometimes they, no matter who they with or their family with, they gotta want it for themselves.
But why don't they? Like, for instance, right now, the program I'm in, sis, mostly women.
Yeah.
Mostly women. Like, we don't have a lot of men in there. And the ones that are in there, like, you're not doing good. You on academic probation already. Like, why you here if you
and
not
this
really
is
trying
why
to
we're gonna
achieve?
have men on the show, because we need to
I want to
get
know.
y'all take on some stuff. Don't act like y'all know. Don't act like all the people you know is on the up and up. Because I tell you, I got some cousins that is not. Yeah, my main circle, the people I choose to to fuck with, we all on the up and up. But I do know some folks that is not, and I don't know why. So that's why we do want to have shows where dudes get to come on and chime in, because we don't want to sound like we getting on y'all. We not, but we do need y'all perspective. Just like Naomi said,
I really want to know.
It's not too many men that she knows of personally that's trying to do more. Why is that? Email us and go on our Instagram and be like, yo, I know somebody who like, let us know y'all motivation, what y'all be thinking.
What motivates you?
You know what I'm saying? Like, in this type of situation, who makes more? Do y'all get offended? Do you look for somebody who makes less so you can feel like more? Do you mind if your girl makes more? Mm-hmm. Like, what's y'all mind frame? So we gave y'all the mind frames of dudes that we've been with where we make more, what they trained to thinking on. Like, my daughter's father and my son's father, no problem.
Yeah,
no problem. They never tried to make me feel any kind of way about making more, and I never tried to make them feel any kind of way. I'm just a down to earth, person. Like I said, when I met my son's father, he didn't have no job, and he didn't get a job until after I had my son. But what we was doing, the way he was treating me and stuff, I was okay, and I helped him along the way. My father even helped him along the way, but he wanted it,
and that's the thing.
He wanted it.
We don't mind helping y'all to reach the next level. It to me as a woman, it gives me so much satisfaction when I can help my man. If it's introducing him to people, if it's helping him to tailor the resume, if it's helping him to figure out what he need to do to get into school or some kind of trade or whatever it is he decides is going to put him at that next level where he needs to be. I have no problem
as long as you want
helping
it.
with that. As long as you want it, but don't make me look like a fool because I'm up here doing the heavy lifting, and then you like,
and you ain't doing nothing, and that's exactly what my ex did. It did, and that's exactly why he probably was living back at his grandparents' house. They both dead, but that's
rest in peace, Granny and Grandpa. I'm just saying, they ain't do nothing, sis. They not doing nothing.
Nigga, that's their genes. What the fuck you talking about? It's they fucking fault. Fuck out of here. That shit get passed down.
My sis so New York. She's so New York, y'all. Like,
I'm just saying, that's our take on who makes more. This is not our take.
No, not at all.
This is not our take on who makes more. But the shit was funny.
Yeah.
And I thought y'all would
I can't
enjoy this meeting.
I'm good. I don't ever want to have that kind of
because
control in the household.
If I feel this way about you, it's not gonna work.
Hey, I'm gonna just not call you no more. I'm good.
It's not gonna work. If I feel like that's how we gonna be, it's not gonna work. But that's our take on who makes more.
So y'all make sure y'all hit us on Instagram at @n_real_life.
Podcast. I'm sorry, y'all, but that's all Instagram had.
It's okay, sis.
So that's what I had to pick. I tried to make it easier for y'all, but that's what they had. So it's n_real_life_podcast on Instagram. Our email is irlpodcast9@gmail.com. Again, you can hit us with your questions, your comments, your confessions. If you need advice, someone to give us some advice, you just drop that on our Instagram, drop that in the email. Again, it's n_real_life_podcast on Instagram and irlpodcast9@gmail.com. We're going to be broadcasting every Sunday, 7 p.m., wherever you listen to your podcast. And soon we're going to start airing episodes and putting them up on YouTube. So we'll let you know about that as well. Join us next week. Our next episode is going to be, what is it going to be, sis?
References.
Fuck y'all prefer out there.
And
We
don't
wanna
get
know.
preferences mixed up with dislikes. Like it's not your dislike.
Yeah,
it's
we're not
what you
saying
actually
that.
like.
What you prefer, you know, as far as, you know,
And it's
when
okay
you're
to have
dating.
preferences. We'll talk about all
It's
of
very
that.
okay. It's very okay. So again, tune in next Sunday, 7 p.m. We out of here.
Peace, y'all.